deductible. Veterans Helping Veterans USA, 352-433-2320. Thank you for your attention, and God bless America.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
A little bit late, 7 minutes after 9 o'clock. Carol Ann Baldwin is here to talk about your lawn, your garden, and my chia pet, Bob Ross. And, of course, Adam is here with us. Taking over. Next week it'll be just you guys.
Yep.
But just get him dive in there.
So how you doing, Carol Ann?
Doing good.
So, hey, cold weather, maybe finally on Sunday, huh?
And I was saying to Adam before we came on the air, I said, everybody knows I hate cold weather. I'm on vacation next week. And
you're gonna go to
Monday, I'd like to go to Florida where it's supposed to say it's warm. But they're saying here, looking at the Weather Channel deal right now, it's going to be 64 for a high. I'm going to SeaWorld.
Right. Well,
it's going to be cold.
It'll be Ice Cube SeaWorld.
Be able to see the
Arctic
I was going to say, go to the wild Arctic one, go see the polar bears, and they'll be comfy.
Right.
So it's like,
out.
I'm off for a week, and that whole week, it's cold.
Is that right?
To me, it's cold. To me, anything below 70. I turned the heat on in the car this morning.
Yeah.
I did. I turned the heat on.
Were you actually cold this morning?
I put a jacket on. Last week I came without a jacket.
Yeah.
It was moist.
It's damp. It's damp. So I guess it cuts into you a little bit, but it's like, everybody knows I'm the biggest wimp when it comes to cold weather.
Jersey girl.
Yeah. I've been in Florida for what? Since 82? You do the math.
Yeah, you're my inspiration. Carolyn is my inspiration for camping.
Yeah.
She goes on these camping trips. Every time I hear about them, I want to go.
Oh, it's been a while since I've gone, but
really?
we've done some nice camping trips over the years.
Do you still do the tents, or do you go to the cabins?
I've never done a cabin.
Never?
Never done a cabin.
I like cabins.
Last time I stayed in a camper, I was probably 14, so I've done tents all my adult life.
Yeah.
There's some nice tents nowadays.
I was going to say, nowadays, like, the tent engineering and design is so much
they're
better.
dry. I mean, the tent I have right now, I actually, when we had gone, I don't think it was the last time I went, but one of the trips up the Panhandle area, we're going to leave that next day. Middle of the night, it's storming. I mean, big time, wind blowing, bucket loads. Get up in the morning, there's 4 inches of water in the campsite.
Oh, no.
Not a drop in my tent.
No way.
Wow. Yeah.
Wow, really?
Oh, yeah. I mean, the tent never moved. The tent never did anything.
So outside the tent, there was water.
Outside the tent, there was water.
Came in.
Yeah, you're slogging around in ankle-deep water.
So how'd you get out of the tent without getting water into it?
Well, the door, the floor actually comes up a little bit. Yeah, usually about, the zipper starts 4 to 6 inches off the floor, off the ground.
It's been a long time since I went camping.
Yeah.
Not like the old school ones where you almost some didn't have a tent, or that they just didn't set up snugly enough and that floor would fold in.
Right.
So you'd open
Right.
it and the water would come in, but
The,
no,
the
everything
ones
was-
where your dad and you spent about an hour at each other's throats trying to
Trying
get
to
the
get the
poles
tent.
through.
I don't remember seeing you there, but you got it. You
You gotta shove it through. Your ends got to come down. It's
Our tents, and this is always those funny things. If anybody has ever camped, you know that a tent that sleeps 8 sleeps 4. Honestly, even an RV, you go RVing, oh, it has bunk space for 6. No, it
Bunk
has bunk space for 4. Unless you're really, really close friends
can't do it with the
and
lollipop
children and
killer.
you get the shoehorn and shove everybody in. But no, I mean, and so my tent is a fairly large tent because I have a queen size air mattress.
Okay.
Nice.
Double high queen size air
Right,
mattress. You're
right,
gonna
right.
sleep comfortable. You don't want to sleep on the ground.
Do you ever camp with pets? You bring your pets?
I've taken my dog.
Yeah?
and he has, and actually this tent has a spot that the dog can
Nice.
be
So the
in. I threw his
toenails-
bed over in the end.
Nice.
The dog's nails don't pop that air mattress?
No, well, he doesn't get on the bed.
Oh, okay.
No, yeah. But I mean, the tent goes up in less than probably about 7 minutes.
You do it by yourself?
I have. It's not easy to do by yourself just because it's easier to get one person on each side and get that pole in there
Right,
and then
right,
get the
right.
other one and then set the rest of it.
Yeah.
And being my lack of verticalness, throwing the rain fly over the top of it becomes a little difficult. Yeah, being able to get it all the way.
Need a helper.
Yeah, need a little height.
Did you ever see the clip of Mr. Rogers trying to put up a tent and he could not do it?
No.
Oh, it's so funny because this is the guy who you would think never gets mad, but he was. He was getting. He was. And he throws it when he's done. He throws it. He doesn't say stupid or damn or anything. He just
Right.
throws it.
Wow.
I like that.
I don't know if I want to see that. That's
Won't you be my neighbor?
Yeah.
Not right now.
Not
at this moment.
Not
Nope.
at this moment.
Nope.
No, I'm gonna go
Just
get a hotel room. Yeah.
back away. And I could picture him coming back and going, "Well, kids, that didn't work out, did it?" Anyway, being outdoors, like it just
Yeah,
changes the whole
just
subject
take a
altogether.
whole, just let it unfold there.
So what do we need to know about the cold weather? Is it going to affect the
It's
plants?
not, no, it's actually going to go down to what it should be, maybe just a little bit cooler than that. I mean, our highs this time of year are supposed to be 72 with a low in the upper 40s, maybe 50, not high of 84.
So
and a
does
low of
this
70.
confirm the global warming theories?
I don't believe in the global
hold on.
warming theory.
Okay.
Global climate change.
And even that, it's cyclic weather conditions. that go
Because
through
like
over and over.
yeah, and like right now, actually was Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah.
Like a cold front stalled out, and all it did was start to bring in warm, moist air from the south, and that's what
Right.
we've had here for 4 days.
Yeah, that's
Good.
And that's-
It's like
it's just-
summertime lately. Yeah.
And I mean, and I understand, folks up north are complaining because it's 60 degrees and they're not getting their snowfall for the, the resorts and things like that up
Right,
north.
right.
But you know what? You can probably flip back through history pages, not even that many years that it has happened before. I mean, if you watch the news in the morning, you will see that they'll say, did it set a record? No, the last record was set
Yeah,
3
right.
years ago, 5 years ago. Remember was it 82, 83, 80? I think 5 of the 10 years of the 80s, we had hard freezes. That's what moved the citrus belt further south. It burst the pipes of my mom's mobile home in the same park you live in the one year. It was just...
Yeah, I had that
It
happen
had
too.
snow in 89. It would...
Yeah.
So...
Ready for a phone call?
Sure.
Good morning. You're on the air with Carol Ann.
Yeah, good morning, good morning. We have only been making accurate measurements of the weather since about 1850 in this country. And as my professor in college would say, we ain't got enough data points to make any serious prediction about climate change or global warming.
True.
The Earth is somewhat older than 1850,
Yeah.
and so you can't extrapolate when your data points only go back to 1850.
Right. Right, and I understand they do core samples and things like that, and can go down in, and that you can measure just like measuring a tree's rings, growing conditions and things like that, or climate conditions. But it is one of those things that you chase it around. You look, and there's freezes, there's thaws, there's long freezes, very short thaws, very long thaws. So yeah, it's one of those things that we just don't have really enough information to be able to say that it's actually something man caused. I mean, what happened to the mini ice age? What was that in the 1500s, 1400s, something like that? But
Game of Thrones style winter is coming.
Right. So
it's funny.
All right, have a good morning, all.
Thanks, you too.
Thank you. I remember when I was a kid, I asked my dad. It was like in the fall because I grew up in Ohio, and I was just a kid, and I said to my dad, because he used to grow huge gardens and stuff with all kinds of vegetables, and I said, Dad, when's the frost happen? And he's like, what? I said, well, when's the first frost? He goes, if I knew that, I'd be a millionaire.
He's annoyed with you.
Well, that's why we say our first expected frost date is about the 15th of November. Our last expected frost date is around the 15th of March. We've had frost as early as Halloween.
Yeah.
We've had frost as late as April 1st. It depends. I know some old school gardeners / farmers who won't plant their vegetable gardens out until that full moon after, is it the one after Easter? I think so. They won't even go to to where they know that cold weather is past us. Because normally, if people pay attention, we did have a full moon the other night, but we didn't have a cold front. So we didn't have the colder weather. But a lot of our cold fronts, well, one, they're ushered in with rain, and then the coldest night usually is on a full moon.
Yeah.
When that occurs. And so it's one of those things that go, okay, well, we don't have a moon this upcoming cold front. Yeah, your new moon can throw you like that too, just because there's just that side of the time in that month. But it's like we don't have any temperatures, or we're not looking at any temperatures that are going to be going down into those 30-degree, or lower 40s, where we get that real iffy. I guess there's one or two there, but I have a feeling coming that point, it might actually even be coming back up. You never know.
I like it when it, like next week, and I know you're talking like a little bit cold. I like that this time of year. January, that's just right, because I know two things in Florida that is why I did not like the weather up north unless it snowed, because I had a birthday in January. If it snowed, fine, then that means it's 20 degrees and fine. But up there, like you say, it's 60 degrees, and then in 36 hours it's going to be 20 degrees, or in the transition it's 38 degrees and rain, where it's just above freezing, so everything is damp.
Right.
By the way, in Scotland, damp is a color. Did you know that?
Yeah, it's a color.
What color is it?
Probably about damp. Green. Damp. Just damp. Gray.
But
oh, really?
But see, the colder weather down here, I know it's associated once the front passes. It's
that
going to be sunshine.
Going, right, it's going to be going back. It brings out all the
clouds and everything else.
Right.
The winds come from the northwest. The next thing you know, it's windy and cold because that cooler, drier air with the high pressure
come through, right?
But the sun's out. And that sun feels good.
Yeah, if you get out of the wind and into the sun, you survive it. I mean, it's one of those things. Like I said, I'm just a whiner on that. So
you know Adam's the pilot, right?
No,
did you know that?
I didn't know.
So he can actually go from the bad weather over the clouds to the good weather.
There you go.
That's got to be cool.
That's actually one of the reasons I kind of got into this, is because it was Northeast Ohio is one of the cloudiest places in the country. My grandfather used to just tell me, I lived in the 3 cloudiest places in the country: the Aleutian Islands, Seattle, Washington, and Akron, Ohio. And he always used to tell me that's why the Ravenna Arsenal was built, because it's so cloudy the Nazis could fly over and not see it. I don't know how much truth there was to that,
but at least that was one of those little anecdotes.
Yeah, but I knew flying commercially, to different places, like, man, even though it's cloudy, we got to see blue sky and sunshine.
Right.
So it's like, hey, man, maybe I should look at doing that.
Hey, you got another caller coming in?
You do. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Yes, I was going to ask Carol Ann, the Ag News briefing that comes on every morning. They've been advertising a water garden, how to build a water garden for your yard. But I was wondering, both commercially as well as for a private individual in Marion County and in the city limits of Ocala, what are the laws regarding a rain barrel or a gathering of roof-borne water during the rain, whether it's commercial or a private individual? Because in some locales, they have some very strict laws regarding gathering water.
Right, they do. I'm not versed on it, on what the rules and regulations, but I do recall that at one time, and I'm trying to remember why it worked with master gardeners and things like that, but that they were looking at putting a cistern actually in over at the county extension office, and I can't remember now what everything was, but it was, to the best of my recollections, it was allowed, and that is actually, it's city property just outside, where the county extension office is actually, I believe, still within the city limits of Ocala. And again, commercial / governmental property, that is allowed. I don't know of any restrictions except maybe some subdivisions and their HOAs that restrict rain barrels from use, and I think that's mostly on an aesthetics reason, not that it is illegal in Florida to collect rainwater, which I always thought was kind of goofy. Why would it be illegal to collect rainwater unless they were worried that people were going to be breeding mosquitoes, kind of thing? But I don't know of any restrictions within Marion County or Ocala on rain barrels, except for, like I said, HOAs that you might encounter in your neighborhoods.
Okay, well, I appreciate your time and the answer. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome. Yeah. Yeah, that's one of those things that, I mean, because even in those same communities, you can't have a compost bin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it has to do with aesthetics and with uniformity throughout the neighborhood. You also can't paint your shutters neon pink. That might be your favorite color, but guess what? You're not allowed. And you sign in on that when you go into a community like that, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you want. You're also not going to change your car's oil in your driveway. You might not even be washing your car in your driveway.
Right.
But normally the collection of water, and if you are going to collect water, do make sure you've got a screen over it. There's actually even specific guttering that on downspouts that'll allow you to flush out that first batch of water so that you're not getting all the leaves and garbage off your roof filling up your barrel and then clogging up your little spigot at the bottom. But rainwater's great for watering your plants with, and during some of the drier times it may help you to how much it's going to save on your water bill. 55 gallons of water, it's not going to water your lawn. No, but it'll take care of your your outdoor plants, or if you have house plants, because if you have a water softener system, they all run on salt.
Yeah.
That's what's doing, and you don't want to run that salt into your houseplants, or you'll be killing your houseplants in a hurry. So you're collecting some rainwater is a benefit for those type of watering situations.
You know what I saw the other day? I saw a cactus outside of a house, right up against the wall, and it must have been 12 feet tall. It was pretty tall, and it looked like the same cactus that I got from Walgreens. That little,
your little bit,
And now that little thing is maybe 10, 11 inches. Yeah. So I didn't realize it would grow that big.
Oh yeah, cactus actually get quite large.
How come we don't see more of them around here?
Cactus are pokey. There are people who like and cactus can be kind of, I don't know, can be ugly. They're not my favorite. When they're little, they're cute.
Okay,
when they start to get big, it's like, okay, I can't get the weight. You don't like your bougainvillea
because it's
got thorns.
It's the thorns of Christ or whatever.
Yeah, and it reaches out. Walk next to a cactus.
It'll bleed. You will bleed when you touch that stupid thing. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I grabbed a lime tree and got myself right in the palm of the hand the other day. I was like, whoa, that thorn was kind of like doing a bougainvillea. But
what's that other thing, that bayonet plant?
Spanish bayonet?
When you are mowing the lawn, you back up into that thing?
Oh, yeah, you're hurting on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spanish bayonets are pretty vicious. Yeah.
But I think it's cool looking, the cactus.
They are. And, the smaller cactus, I think, are kind of cute. But once they
I
start
guess,
getting
yeah.
big, they I don't know, they lose some of that charm. But then when they go and they bloom, then they become spectacular again.
What is the cactus that you can actually eat the fruit? What is
The
it?
prickly pear.
Now, what is that? The one that looks like
That you
Mickey
get-
Mouse ears?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah, they're flat. They're flat paddle
Yeah,
type.
yeah.
You can eat that, and you can also eat the fruit
What?
that comes after the.
You eat the part with the thorns in it?
You can eat so the flower sometimes has little thorns you got to battle through too. But yes, you can eat the pad. You can even find those in the stores occasionally. Usually in like the Latin. Like with Latin food, or if you look in the international aisles with the Latin food, that you'll find them like jarred, canned, whatever you want to call them.
Oh my
But
god!
the fruit too
Canned
are edible.
cactus.
Yeah,
What's for dinner?
it's a little
What
fried
happened,
cactus.
Canned cactus.
A little fried
Oh, you
cactus.
fry it?
Yeah, I believe they fry it. I mean, the spines are taken off. No, you take the spines off. I mean, you eat catfish, but you don't eat the spines off the catfish.
That's true.
Yeah.
True.
Because those are vicious too. But what was with the cactus? Yeah, once they bloom, and then it's like, wow, that this kind of ugly cactus suddenly has worth. When my parents. They were living down in Palmetto, had left Ocala, was living down in Palmetto, and my dad found them a mobile home to buy in a park. And so Dad went ahead and bought it. Mom loved it. Felt, yeah, okay, great. And she's telling me how to get there. And she goes, well, when you come around the corner, we're the ones with the big ugly cactus in the front yard. Which her neighbors convinced them not to pull it out, not till at least she saw it bloom.
Is that right?
And it was because it's one of the night blooming, like a night blooming series. They bloom, the flowers last one, but it's like, boom, it had flowers all over it, so she kept the cactus. But most of the year, it was just like, hey, yeah, it's got the big ugly cactus in the front yard.
Yeah. How long does that last, the bloom with the flowers?
One night.
One night.
Each bloom is one night.
Wow.
So you have to get up in the middle of the
right?
night to catch it.
Isn't it amazing the timing of
Yeah.
it?
Same thing with like your night blooming jasmine. Oh, great, beautiful shrub. Oh, so fragrant until the morning comes. Once morning gets here, then you've got no bloom. You might even see the bloom on the thing. You go, no, there's no scent to them. They're done.
Speaking of timing,
Yes.
Robin's Christmas cactus is looking really good right now, but it missed Christmas. It came a little bit late.
Mine's blooming. I should have taken a picture of it. Mine's blooming.
It's
right
really like at full bloom? Is it?
Yeah,
do
actually,
they only
mine's
do
at
it once
full
a year?
bloom. Yeah, mine's at full bloom. Getting past it, I need to set it back outside, and I think I got to repot part of mine. It kept getting beat up with the rain, and it was like, but it's full of bud.
Oh,
and so
really?
it's just like, okay, just hang in there. We'll take care of you after you're done, and probably take it out of the pot, change out all the dirt, put it back in the pot.
Yeah.
Hope for the best.
Almost at the bottom here.
The bottom.
Do you have a gift?
We have gift certificates to Baldwin's Community Gardens and Nursery, and we all know that it's $20, and it is plant material only. So you can't get your mulch or any pavers or whatever, but you can do that. And I also have a book here called Smart Plants, Power Foods and Natural Nootropics. So if somebody wants that, it's got recipes, it's got all kinds of stuff, just not my kind of book, so we'll give it away.
Why smart? I mean,
Smart plants. It's because it's supposed to optimize thinking,
you have
focus, and memory.
So there's no app that goes along with your carrots.
No, no, just ways. Different foods to help. Supposed to help your brain and
An
your mind and
appetite.
things.
It has a-
Appetizers. How about that one?
Right.
Yeah. So if anybody wants that, give us a call. But we also have the Bob Wines gift certificates as well.
All right, and the way this works, during the break, if you call 622-9622, I will answer the phone kind of at random, and if we have the prizes, you'll get them. And the other thing is, don't forget, Carol Ann has a Facebook page that she's created called In the Garden, obviously. So
Real
just
simple.
look for that, sign up, become a friend. You'll see my Chia Bob Ross.
Yep.
He's growing his hair kind of wild.
And a wild and
Have I shown you,
carefree.
Adam? Have I shown you my Chia?
no,
Oh,
it's
my gosh.
good.
He doesn't look like the box at all. All right, we'll be right back. This is The Source, WOCA, Ocala. 622-9622.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi meeting with other Democrats this morning to discuss when articles of impeachment will be sent to the Senate to start President Trump's trial. Once that gets going, Utah Senator Mitt Romney is among the Republicans open to hearing from more witnesses.
At this stage, I'd like to hear from John Bolton and other witnesses with direct information.
Bolton, the president's former national security advisor. Ohio Republican Jim Jordan says the whole thing should be dismissed.
You can't just let the Democrats get the witnesses they want. I mean, we've already had the most unfair process I've ever seen on the House side.
Congressman Jordan on Fox and Friends this morning. The Supreme Court today considers the conviction of 2 former aides to former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie over changing traffic patterns to punish a mayor who hadn't endorsed Christie in 2013. The aides argue that what they did may have been unethical, but that no crime was committed. America's listening to Fox News.
When Allstate agents and employees go to work every day, their number one priority is protecting what matters most to you. For military veterans, that instinct to protect also comes naturally. No wonder thousands of veterans build good careers with Allstate. And now, Allstate is ranked the number 1 employer on the 2020 Military Friendly Employers list. You're in good hands with Allstate.
For career opportunities or to get a quote, contact Allstate today. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
Lowe's has the supplies pros like you use most and will even help you save. Get up to 30% off 15 bats, 20 rolls, or 30 bags of select in-stock Owens Corning or John's Manville fiberglass insulation. And save 15% on your next purchase of 10 or more rigid, EMT, and PVC electrical conduit and fittings. Order at Lowe'sForPros.com and pick up in store where our pro loaders will be ready to load you up so you can get back to the job site faster. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Offers valid 1/16 to 1/22. Selection varies by location, U.S. only.
Special day go to Scrub Paradise in Ocala. Located off Easy Street next to Shoe Carnival, Scrub Paradise has a wide selection of top brand scrubs, medical shoes, and accessories. Embroidery is also available. Don't settle for the same boring scrubs. Visit Scrub Paradise today or call 352-873-4368. Your favorite brands are on sale. 352-873-4368. That number again is 352-873-4368.
With a graduate degree in management and leadership from Webster University, there'll never be a better time for you to explore what's next in your career. Classes are scheduled so you can continue your normal workday routine, and the accelerated program means a new term starts about every 10 weeks. If you're looking to gain a broad general management and leadership perspective, then Webster University's Management and Leadership degree program is the right one for you. It's all a part of what's next at Webster University.
Go to webster.edu/manage, accredited by ACBSP.
Palm Garden announces Fast Track. Fast Track, focused assessment, safe transition. When a new guest is admitted to Palm Garden, we start with the ABCs. A is the assessment to determine what the guest needs. B is for basic care, which is excellent nursing and therapy. And C is for consistency to provide what's needed throughout the stay. Fast Track. Palm Garden will get you home fast, really, really fast. Take a fast tour of Palm Garden located at the corner of Southwest 27th Avenue and 34th Street.
When you see the Mike Scott Plumbing truck, you know that experienced certified technicians are on the job. Mike Scott Plumbing has the equipment and expertise to handle any size septic job, residential and commercial. From pumping septic tanks to installing new tanks and drain fields. When you want the job done right the first time, then the first call you need to make is to Mike Scott Plumbing. Mike Scott Plumbing is locally owned and operated since 1987, so you get the quality you expect at the price you deserve. If water runs through it, we do it. Mike Scott Plumbing.
The whole town's talking about the Camellia Show at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens. Hundreds have visited so far, and they say it's the best camellia show ever. Time for you to visit this 5-acre garden with hundreds of camellias, 50-year-old camellia trees, rare and exotic specimens, too. The show is free, but you can join the camellia lovers with your very own Bob Wine's heirloom camellia for as low as $19.99. Bob Wine's is celebrating Florida Arbor Day with a terrific tree sale. All shade trees, ornamental trees, citrus trees are buy one, get one at half price. Shrubs, indoor plants, herbs, hanging baskets, azaleas, roses, gardenias, and perennials are 50% off just for Arbor Day. The Camellia Show Spectacular and a huge Arbor Day tree sale right now at Bob Wine's Camellia Gardens, Southeast 38th Street, Ocala, in the same blooming place since 1952.
All right, 25 minutes before 10 o'clock, a little bit of an overcast day, 72 degrees here right now. Temperatures today are expected to reach 82, and then tonight dropping to 61. And take that and repeat it Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday a little bit cooler. But if you look ahead to Sunday, there's some rain mentioned, and after that, Carol Ann's favorite idea, the idea of cold weather comes in.
Yeah.
38 degrees is the low on Monday night, 34 degrees on Tuesday night. Does your forecast go past next Tuesday?
Yes, because I grabbed the 10-day.
So yours goes colder?
Mine's, yeah, well, it doesn't go colder.
Oh, okay.
No, it just goes longer. 34, this one's showing for Tuesday night.
Oh, okay.
Which is not happy. It just figures. It just figures. I'm on vacation. It's either when I have a day off and it rains. What? SeaWorld is outside. I might spend the rest of the weekend just hide under my covers for a week. Yeah, it'll be fine.
Gonna see, what's that, orca? What's his name, the whale?
Shamu.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't think he's no longer there.
Yeah,
he's not there?
Yeah, I don't think Shamu's
Why?
there anymore.
That's a touchy subject.
Oh, because of the black tide or something?
Blackfish.
Blackfish.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they still have some great programs there. That's
what I always tried to kind of argue a little bit. Like
is that without what they do, I mean, how many manatees, would have died? Sea turtles, other rescues and things like that, and the education that goes on to people. I mean, we didn't know originally when we started. Or they started.
That's
mean, even just science, marine biology started by putting this very large mammal into a tank that it needed to be much, much larger than it was.
Yeah, right.
We didn't know, and I don't think they even really knew why. The fin thing, the whole, like the whole Free Willy kind of thing.
Right.
Was going on, which was a really good movie, even though.
Yeah.
It's but they it's I think we just I mean so I don't hold anything against SeaWorld or the on that.
Yeah,
it's,
I don't either. Remember there was a protest, I think it was SeaWorld, where they didn't like the fact that in the dining area you could eat fish. So
I mean, I would want fish in
Of course.
You can't get polar bear.
That's why we went to SeaWorld. My appetite increased.
That's it. You want fish sticks. I'm sorry. Yeah, you want some fish and chips. Yeah, that's part of the fun of it. But.
Phone lines are open if you want to call Carol Ann. The number is 622-9622. And, of course, the focal point is gardening.
Yes.
Although we do go to SeaWorld and camping.
We do all kinds of things, food, whatever you want. But we're doing gardening. It is amazing. It's the 14th of January. We're halfway through the first month of 2020.
I know, isn't that something?
And it's like, wow, it's just like flying by. But you figure right now it is still wintertime here, even though it's warm, it is still wintertime. So we're just still chilling like it would be. Now some things, we may have had to mow the grass a little bit this winter because it's been warm. And if you're running any irrigation, which in the wintertime, we usually say like once a week or once every 10 days, turn the sprinklers on, make sure the lawn is not getting water stressed or anything like that. But still remember, we are wintertime. It is still wintertime, so we're not fertilizing anything yet. Just hold off another, say, 6 weeks, and we'll be good to go. I mean, you can go ahead and get the mower blades sharpened. Mm-hmm. You could go out and calibrate your spreader if you wanted to get that technical. It's not that easy to do, but it's one of those things.
I don't think I've ever calibrated my spreader.
I never had. I don't think I know anybody except for like maybe commercial people who do. Even though it is kind of recommended. I mean, it allows you to know that you're actually putting down the proper quantity of the fertilizer that you're doing. But most people take and use that spreader they'll put the fertilizer down, they'll put the bug killer down, they'll grab some topsoil, they'll throw it in there and run that across there. So I don't.
Do you know? I have a question for you based on what you just said. Now, when I was a kid, nobody I knew was a farmer or even had a big garden.
Right.
But a lot of people I knew had indoor plants. Okay.
Sure.
So now in today's world, people buy those little spikes, those
like the little Job spikes.
But when I was a
spikes,
kid, my grandmother would always take old eggshells and
that was some of that old school stuff.
Whatever.
And some people still do that.
Wouldn't that work still?
Yeah, I mean it does, but you figure eggshell is just going to give it a little bit of calcium. It's not really a complete fertilizer. We got a phone call coming through?
You do have a phone call. Good morning, you're on the air.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Carolyn.
Yes.
Yesterday, I was out on was cleaning my driveway, and there was a twig, and it had two. It looked like beans on it, little pods. And the pods were opening, and every little seed in that pod has a feathery tuft on it.
Yeah.
It could blow in the wind.
Yep.
And I have looked everywhere to see where it came from. I cannot find it.
Do you have any Confederate jasmine?
Yes.
That's where it came from.
I do.
That's where it came from.
You're kidding.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Mine's turned to seed too. Mine has made seed pod too.
Okay, well that explains that. I'll look there then. I never even thought to look at the jasmine.
Yeah, and they're sort of like one on opposite sides of the little branch. So yeah, when you see it, yeah, it's like one on each side. Almost looks like a little helicopter. Looks like but yeah, each of those with a little feather, so they'll blow in the wind. Yeah.
What was that?
I said they look like little feathers, so that they'll blow in the wind to disperse.
Yes. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
You are welcome. You are welcome.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Yeah, mine's doing the same thing. They're by my gate, and it's like, oh yeah, there it goes again.
I must tell you, I don't know if this is true for Adam. I couldn't visualize what you would describe, what she was describing. What?
A stick with a seed pod on it.
What?
She said she found a stick. It
just laying in the yard.
Just a twig in the driveway. She's sweeping off the driveway there, and had seed pods, because you could tell it's a seed pod because they had burst open. And in it looked like a seed with feathers. If you
wow.
And I mean they do. It does look almost like a bit of a bird feather or some type of. It's part of the plant material that helps. That if it was up high and that opened, and unless you're watching online or on YouTube, you can't see all my wild hand gestures. But that'll open up, and if the wind's blowing, it'll catch them and disperse them where they're going to go. So.
And what is the plant called?
Confederate jasmine.
Doesn't that sound like a redneck
jasmine.
Disney movie or something?
Well, that's why nowadays they call it star jasmine, because
the story of the Southern Mason-Dixon princess.
Yeah, the beginning of
like that. I can show you the South. The South is warm in winter.
Nice. He's going to be good at this.
But so that's what that is. This is the time of year that that the seed pods are ripe and mature. So if you wanted to start new little plants, you collect that out of there, and you can even leave the feather on there. It's not going to hurt anything, and put them in a little peat pot with some soil in it, and start you some new ones.
And you have another phone call. Good morning, you're on there with Carol Ann.
I'm back.
Yep.
It's Gareth, and I meant to ask you about something else. You were talking about getting the tools ready for work in the spring. Mm-hmm. Well, I have a friend who said she had a whole crop of sand spurs in her yard.
Oh.
And she figured out that her husband had gone over to cut her neighbor's lawn as a favor.
Right.
And when he brought the riding lawnmower back, he brought some sand spurs in his wheel.
Yeah.
Or tires, I should say. And so people need to be thinking about that. I have a whole new crop of weeds that I've never seen before. And I suspect that my yard man brought them for me. So
they may have.
I don't know what the answer is. Yeah. So, anyway, I just thought sometimes people need to think about that too.
Sure, they sure do. Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for calling back again, Gareth. With your lawn, especially if you're using a lawn service, or you do go mow your neighbor's lawn for a favor, or that you do theirs because they don't have a mower, not capable, or something like that. You can ask your lawn guy to please clean off his mowers before he comes into your yard. I would have never thought of
that. Wow.
Because if he mows one yard that's got some lawn fungus going on, and he brings the mower over to your house and just starts mowing the yard, he could be bringing lawn fungus right into your yard.
It's like a beautiful,
same thing. Yeah, it's
beautiful
just
disaster.
It's just like in elementary school. No, you want a plague to go around, just give it to a kindergartner. You got to give it to one. The whole school will be infected.
right.
And every family within 5 to 7 days, whatever the incubation period is. But yeah, in the tires of the mower, you pick up some weed seeds, fungal spores up in the mower deck, weed seeds up in the mower deck, anything like that. So I mean, if you're mowing the neighbor's yard, hose it off or blow it off before you bring it home. You can ask your lawn guy if you've got one to, hey, would you mind, cleaning that off? And I'll allow you to clean it off when you leave my house. I use my hose and, clean it off. Don't run the stuff down the driveway, down into the storm drains, though. We don't want that stuff going in the
So let's talk about what happens when he doesn't do that and you end up with a crop.
You end up with a crop.
How do you fix that?
Good, hardy, strong grass, most of the times will outcompete any of the lawn weeds. That you may have to help them out with either going out there and hand removing them, keeping the grass mowed to where they can't form a seed head, because then you're not spreading them when you hit them with the lawnmower again. Okay. Going out with an herbicide and spot treating for those weeds. The home remedy vinegar and Epsom salts and dish soap will burn the top off of the weed, but it's not going to get that root. And especially if it's a hardy, strong rooted thing like a sandspur, the nutsedge, dollar weed, they'll yellow them out, but they will be back.
And couldn't they also be spread by birds? And
they can be spread by birds. You take your dog for a walk.
Right.
You come back through. You go take a hike through the local park. You come back and you've got some weed seeds coming.
Squirrels, wind.
Squirrels. I mean, fleas in the landscape in the yard aren't always from your dog or your cat. They're actually from the squirrel. Because they're always scratching. They're not doing advantage. They're not doing the advantage stuff.
They always scratch. They're always itchy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So and because we're not treating the wild animals for fleas, they're.
No, you don't want to do that.
Rabbits, squirrels, if you happen to be in an area with deer, again, all of that are also raccoons. They can all be, carriers of some of your pests, especially like your flea pests and that. So, it is one of those kind of things. If you have pests or if you've had a flea outbreak before, is treat the yard, treat the pets, if you have to, treat the house, but you do them all at the same time.
This is a little tricky, though, this weather, this time of year, because you start... Because I was out on the golf course the other day, and the air was kind of stagnant. It was been blowing for the last few days.
Right.
But the front fell out and stuff, but it was a little bit muggy. And, man, there were these little...
Oh, the little gnats, the little sand gnats.
And that's a sign, too, like when it stays warm for this long, it's supposed to be colder right now.
Right.
And a lot of
So they're getting another cycle of
insects.
Another cycle of birth and egg laying.
The fleas, the ticks, which I hear is actually getting worse as far as those go. And then what's the other thing?
The mosquitoes. Mosquitoes again. When the warmer weather, that's the cooler weather cold weather doesn't actually kill them off. And it doesn't make less of them if we have a hard freeze. It just makes it to where they don't have another crop during an off season, or it may slow down depending on how late in the season we have a frost or a good hard freeze, how early they begin to breed again, or that begins to hatch. Because that's your mosquitoes, I think it's every 10 days or 10 days after rain. We can have dry weather. Spring comes, good first rainfall, 10 days later we got a mosquito problem. So that's when you're looking around. And again, this time of year, it has been warm. Check the saucers underneath any plants that are outside. Check the kids' swings, that it's not holding water in the tire swing or something like that. You got the bucket on the side of the shed that is sitting there collecting water. Help to eliminate those areas, those breeding grounds, while it's not really their breeding season. So it's
The phone line is open if you want to call in and ask a question or just be part of the conversation. The number is 622-9622. If you're out of the area, and it looks like there might be some people watching on YouTube right now, the area code is 352. So 352-622-9622. And also don't forget there's a Facebook page for this show where you can show, Carol Ann, the plant or the bug or whatever it is that you have a question about. Yeah.
And another thing with this warmer weather, some plants that might have already been knocked back by frost or anything, or just dormant kind of things, like just for an example, a plumeria, that's the Hawaiian lei flower, still have leaves on them because it's not been cold enough to knock them back. Had a gentleman come in the other day with the rust. It's a fungal issue that happens to plumeria. It's a plumeria leaf rust. So you might be out there looking and taking a look.
It looks like rust?
It looks like orange rust on the bottom of the leaves, kind of dusty. I mean, it'll rub off kind of thing, but that spore that'll go along.
wow.
So it's get out there and treat those while it's early in the season. So that it does not continue to be a problem as the weather changes and the warmer weather is going to be coming, the spring season after we still got February to go.
Yeah.
February can be our worst. So that's, I keep telling people, and there are some that are going, oh yeah, just wait till next month. I'm going, gosh, I don't want to. February has its name for a reason. Yeah.
Because nobody can pronounce February.
Yeah, but I call it February because it's usually nasty weather on that. February, yeah.
So you're going to SeaWorld.
Mm-hmm.
When are you going?
Monday.
The cold day.
Yeah, one of the 2 cold days there. Yeah, it'll be...
You're going to get a fish sandwich?
Maybe. It's 64 degrees
Really?
and partly cloudy. So that's definitely going to be...
And they got some wild roller coasters there now.
Do they really?
Yeah, some great rides. Like it was.
I didn't even know that.
Oh yeah, they got some. Yeah, it's a big.
Are you a roller coaster girl?
Not too much. I was hoping to do the flume rides. I love flume rides, but it's like I'm not getting wet. It's only 60 degrees.
Right.
Yeah, that's not my favorite thing to do.
Pneumonia with Carol Ann.
Yeah, just be a popsicle.
That'll be fun. It's going to be fun for you.
Oh yeah. Nice little day trip, and that's what's always so wonderful about being that we're not right in all of that. We don't have to deal with that traffic day to day, but we're an hour and a half away.
Yeah.
It's easy enough to get up, and it's not like the parks are open at 6 a.m. where you're going to pack up the family at 4.
Wait a minute. Hour and a half. How long does it take to fly there?
To Tampa?
Yeah.
Orlando.
Orlando. Yeah, it's Orlando, right? It's about 40 minutes.
Yeah.
40 minutes.
Isn't that amazing? 40 minutes he's there.
Oh, yeah.
Whatever.
Oh, yeah, he can go to the Keys for lunch and be back, by... Yeah.
And in our aircraft, that's like 2.5 hours, if that, down to Key West.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
If you take pretty much the drive time and then cut it in half, that's about the 172 Cessna time it would take.
Yeah.
So if you got like an 8-hour drive, about 4 hours in a plane.
Yeah.
Which is great, and it's straight line distance. It's no
no stop and go traffic.
For example, one of my funnest flights to do is Fernandina Beach, which is Amelia Island and all that, and the drive up 301 is atrocious through Jacksonville, and it's taken us 3 hours sometimes to get there. It's literally like not even 40 minutes.
Really?
Plane ride, and you fly right over the top of everything.
You know what? I was just thinking about the fires in Australia, and the reason I'm bringing this up on your show is because there was a discussion about, again, about global warming.
Yeah. Oh,
okay.
right.
Now,
but most of these were all set by arsonists.
Okay, but let me tell you.
They were having drought.
But I want to tell you the argument that I heard, and there was the arsonist part of
Yeah.
it, but that's got nothing to do with gardening. But the argument was the reason we're having those fires is because they're not doing the prescribed burns. And then that conversation went to how prescribed burns actually promote growth.
Correct.
Explain that. What happens there?
Well, because you knock out overgrowth of things that are hiding other seeds. Some seeds don't sprout without fire.
True.
Is that right?
They actually need fire to burn that coating off. Right, to burn that coating off. And the nutrients that come from fire, the carbons and that are released into the soil, is, it's a natural cleanup. But that not doing, prescribed burns do one, they get rid of overgrowth and dry material, allowing new, healthy green growth to come, which generally is a little bit more fire resistant.
Yeah.
It gets rid of vines that are going up trees, acting as ladders that go up to tops of trees, and then carrying them across, bridging that area. So that's why prescribed burns are done. That why we do them there. And yes, I understand Australia is in some severe drought conditions right now, which is just exasperating. That issue of having arson go on. It's like, really?
Yeah, really.
The controlled burns. I don't know. I've been trying to figure that out for a while because Florida does it a lot.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
They do it a ton.
Yeah.
And I actually had an opportunity to apply to the forestry.
Okay.
For a while there, but I didn't have
Yeah.
enough time, so I didn't proceed to it. But I knew some buddies who flew for forestry and stuff. So the big thing is when you have wildfires, okay, but then on a clear, cloudless day after the cold front comes through and it gets to a nice 64 degrees, you go up there, you can get to about, let's say, 8,000 feet, and you can see both coastlines. It's gorgeous.
Right.
But you know what always is there? Always plumes of smoke. And we're talking like last week, we're talking like, I'd probably estimate 500 to 1,000 acres of them. Maybe it was controlled.
Right.
But I mean, you're talking plumes of smoke that are up in the atmosphere that I'm just kind of wondering. I'm like, where's that fine line of like, this is good here, right here, but then the way it looks up there.
What you're seeing from that, right.
Considering the amount of particles in the air and stuff, considering that all the weather come through and took care of that, and now you have clear cloud, and they do it when the winds are favorable.
Right,
because,
to where it's gonna.
Right, it's more like, okay, once the front moves through, it's predominantly out of the like northwest. And since they know that, they can control the burn. But when you start getting variable winds and stuff like that, it's harder to do.
Yeah, the fire's moving back.
So they wait until it's a clear, cloudless day that's just beautiful after the front moves through, and then you go up, and I mean, it's heavy.
And you're seeing that. And sometimes I'm not sure if it happens after they log off an area, if they ever just go through and burn so that they can then replant.
Because I've always wondered what goes into the decision that this area. People used to use the argument like, oh, well, if we do that, it gets rid of the undergrowth, so if there's a wildfire, it won't catch that area. Florida's huge, so how do you prescribe certain areas?
It prescribes around, I think, areas where you have residential areas.
Well, that's another argument I heard, but I see, like, we're talking, like, west, where it's just like there's nothing out there. Right. There's nothing between Denellen and
Highway 19. Or very hard that there's certain areas, too, that are very boggy, that when they catch, you can't put them out.
Yeah, that's true.
Because they just sit there and smolder and smolder and smolder. And I think that's what some of it may be that. I'm not sure all of the different reasonings
and it's interesting.
I'm sure there's a few different.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm sure there is a line that says like, well, no, we need to do this. This became a necessity, and we've been doing it for a while now. So it makes you wonder like where that science.
And although I don't know the science behind it, I have seen it because when you have those prescribed burns or whatever, maybe they're not even prescribed, but in the Ocala National Forest, then you drive through like next month and it's all really bright green.
Yeah, you got the scorch up the trunks of the trees, but you've got all brand new palmetto and that all just shooting up and it's that's what it is. And part of that is also food source for wildlife, as well as the whole thing of controlling where that fire would go. And
well, another good show. Have fun on Monday. Stay warm.
I'll be in on Tuesday.
The flume, and next Tuesday you'll be with Adam. Caroline, I want to tell you, I have loved doing this with you all these years.
And it's been many, many, many years.
Yeah. So I'm going to miss seeing you. I'm going to be listening in though.
You know how to reach us on Facebook, and
I'll post pictures of my chia man
and your apple tree and.
Thank you so much, Caroline.
Thank you, Larry.
I love you. Thank you
love it. Yep.
for all these great years. And everybody doesn't know,
That's
Caroline
it.
volunteers to do this. This is her free time.
That's it. On my way to work when I get out of here.
Appreciate it.
All right, we will take a little break. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News, I'm Chris Foster. Iran's government announces arrests over a passenger plane being shot down last week.
The announcement was made today on Iranian state television, though no specific number was given regarding the number of arrests. That Ukrainian Airlines flight was hit by Iran's missile defense system on the same night that the country launched 16 ballistic missiles into Iraq. Overnight, Iranian President Hassan Rouhani called the event a, quote, unforgivable error, although the Iranian government first denied any involvement in the accident.
Fox's Trey Yingst in Jerusalem. House Democrats are meeting to discuss sending articles of impeachment to the Senate to start President Trump's trial. And there's a Democratic Party presidential debate tonight. Two candidates are disagreeing on what one said to the other at a meeting in 2018.
Bernie Sanders denies Elizabeth Warren's claim that he told her a woman can't win as they both fight for the progressive vote. Only 6 of 12 candidates have qualified for tonight's Democratic debate.
Fox's Jeff Manasso in